Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear students, today we're going to deal with a asterisk this. So, if this is this, then what the heck is this asterisk this? It's like an, rap musician's dream. So, what I'm saying is, if this, we have understood the this, then what the heck is asterisk this? Let me tell you one thing here. Let me give you a little analogy here. If I'm saying integer, if I'm declaring integer variable a and saying sum it is 23, right? And I am now declaring an integer asterisk ptr, a pointer variable. Now in a ptr I am putting the address of the a. So this time, now what is the address of a? That is in a ptr. That means in the memory we have a box, a memory created for the a, 4 bytes which are holding 23, and the address of that a is in a ptr. Now ptr is also pointing towards the memory location which contains 23, and a is also pointing to that. But ptr is not equivalent to saying a. Look, if I here cout a is equal to, right, I will say what is the value of the a, and I print out a, and I also cout \n, I gonna print out this time the ptr. What's the value of the ptr? Is equal to ptr. Now if I give it a go, I just run it, and you will see, here we go, my a is equal to 23, but ptr is equal to 0x241ff5c. so what is that? So actually this is the address of the a, address where 23 is located in the memory. So saying a and ptr is not same. Definitely ptr is pointing to what a is pointing, but if we print a and if we print ptr, it's a hell lot of difference. Because if we print a, compiler does a dereferencing for us. It chucks the address which a points and gives us the value stored inside. But ptr doesn't do any dereferencing. It does what? It simply tells what is inside ptr. Inside ptr is the address of the a, as we could see here, because ptr consists of address of a. So ptr holds the address, a also holds the address, but when you say print cout a, compiler does the dereferencing. It actually gives the value of what is stored at the which a is pointing to. But ptr, when you print ptr, no dereferencing is done. Rather, what is inside the ptr, that is printed out. So what is equivalent of a in terms of pointers? That is, if we cout, we do know the dereferencing, because here in printing a, compiler does dereferencing by itself, but here we're gonna do the dereferencing. So how we're gonna do the dereferencing is, we're gonna say asterisk ptr. So do dereferencing. That is, the asterisk is the dereferencing operator. We're gonna use that. So if we say now is equal to, and I'm saying asterisk ptr, maybe I will also go to the new line. Now if I give it a go, just run it. Just run it, little bit taking time. Now look here, a is equal to 23, ptr consists of the address, a also consists of the address which is pointing 23, but ptr is giving me simply the address, but asterisk ptr is giving 23, right? So saying a and saying asterisk ptr is actually same, right? So get my point. What I'm going to tell you, that a and the asterisk ptr, that is same, because if you talk in terms of an variable, then dereferencing is done by itself. and asterisk PTR is in actual terms, A and PTR are actually same, but when it comes to the printing, the job is done on the A by the compiler itself, and on the PTR the job is not done. It is we who have to dereference by putting the asterisk in front. So in terms of printing here, what I'm saying is that my A is equal to not PTR, it is equal to asterisk PTR, because they are both giving the value 23. So logically A and asterisk PTR are equal. Same is story with this and asterisk this. So what this is doing is it stores the address of the current object, but asterisk this actually holds the values also. Let's see it with an example. Okay, let's create a class here. Oh, what I'm writing, class some test, for example, and inside in the private section I'm gonna create some variables, 2 variables, and then in a public section maybe I will have a constructor, say test, which is doing me what, which is saying A is equal to B is equal to some value like 8, and I will have a function while show which show me something, these values actually. So let me see out A and also with some space and B, right? Okay, then let us have one more function which will return me the asterisk this, so which is returning me the object. So my return type should be what my class name is, that's test, and let me name it something like a copy or something. Okay, and what I will do here is I will say A is equal to 23 and B is equal to 78, whatever, and then I return return what, asterisk this, that's I'm going to return the current object. So this is why we understand what's happening. Let's go to the main. I will let you understand this. Let me write first. I go to the main, I will create the test type some objects, say T1 and T2, right? I'm creating 2 objects. Let me say first T1.show, which will actually, you know, which shows me what is inside the T1. Then I say T2 is equal to T1 dot what I've written, CPY here, CPY, and then I say T2 dot show. So let's give it a go first, then I will explain what it is. Let me see if there are some errors or not. So it seems there are no errors and it's working fine. Let me explain it first, then we'll run it again. What I'm trying to do here is I'm creating 2 objects here of type test, class test, right? And when you create the object, they're gonna call the default constructor, that's this one, and T1 will have a copy of A and B, and T2 will have a separate copy of A and B, and everywhere there will be 8. In T1's A, T1's B, it will be 8, and T2 also gonna call, when it is being created, it will call the test, the default constructor. And then I'm saying T1.show, I'm calling this function, T1 will show its A and B values, that will be 8 and 8. Then I'm calling T2 is equal to T1.copy. So when I'm calling this function and I'm writing is equal on the left side, that means this function gonna return something, and basically I want to return something which can be assigned to an object T2. Now T2 is an object, so what this function is gonna return should also be of type object, and this T2 is of what type of object it is. It depends on what class it belongs to. So it is a test object. So it should return the test. That's why I'm saying CPY. It should return the test, a class type, that is an object of type test. Then what I'm assigning is A23B78. This will be copied in where? Will it be copied to the T1's A or T2's A, and T1's B or T2's B? I mean, object T1 will be initialized or T2 will be initialized here? Yes, T1 will be initialized because T1 is calling the copy function. So T1.copy means you are calling the copy function of T1. So using the object T1. So that time the current object is T1. So A belongs to T1, B belongs to T1. It is updating, and it returns the asterisk this. As I said earlier, asterisk this is equivalent of saying T1 or T2, the object, right? So as if I say this, that will hold the address of the T1, okay, but in terms of dereferencing, because the pointer I have to dereference, so if I want to get exact values what T1 has, and I want to send all of them what T1 has, not only the address of the T1 but with the values what is inside the A or is inside the B of T1. A T1 object has inside A and B with values, with address, and I mean to say whole object that will be returned, and this will be catched here in the T2. So T2 will be assigned, when you say is equal to, it's again overloaded, but it's automatically done by the compiler, that whatever is in I'm saying here, this will return me the T1. So if I don't write this, if I comment out this, it will be equal to T2 is equal to T1. It is same. It is same. I'm only trying to let you understand what asterisk this is. So if I say T2 is equal to T1, right? So whatever is in the T1, that will be assigned to T2. Okay, and it's done automatically because T1 may have many things, like we have this time A and B, and T2 also has A and B. So A of T1 will be assigned to A of T2, B of T1 will be assigned to the B of T2, and so on. So this is exactly what I'm trying to do here, but I am saying in a different way the same thing, that I'm calling T1.copy, that this copy will be called by the T1 object, and its A and its B will be updated, and I'm returning the asterisk this. Asterisk this actually means T1 with its contents, right? So with its contents, it's important. So this will be returned, and this actually, this whole thing, T1.copy returns object T1 with the updated values. That is, T1 will have A is 23, B 78, and that will be assigned to the T2, right? So if I give it a go, and you will see that when I do T2.show, it shows me T2 will have indeed updated values. Now look here, this is 8 and 8 because T1.show we did here. So when you say T1.show, it's gonna do what? It will print 8 and 8, what is in A and what is in B. That's the default constructor assigned. Then when I say T1.copy, it basically updates the A and B of T1 as well, but that is being assigned to T2, and when I'm printing T2, it is having the updated values. So what I am saying is, if you are returning here the asterisk this is as good as saying the object with its values. And now if I remove this asterisk here, it doesn't mean that this is not an object. This will be an error because this is not an object. This is the address of the current object, that is T1. So if I run it, it will show me an error. This is an error. So if I want to return the complete object, I have to say asterisk this. So let's now finalize it. That this means actually the address of the current object. And when I say asterisk this is dereferencing done, as you have seen in the simple pointer variables, that it will say asterisk this will say a current object with its values. That means whole object. Getting me or not? So we're going to use this now in our operator overloading, especially in the postfix operator overloading. Postfix, I mean postfix increment or decrement, right? So stay tuned and wait for the next. Ma salama.